I know you're coming across. You're gonna have a whole field of grass. Oh, fields and fields of grass.
Here they come. Good girl, there she goes. Oh my gosh, she's so happy. She's happy. There she goes. Angel got out one time because she wanted to go hang out with Daisy. They were literally running along the fence line together. They loved each other. Hi, Angel. We'll see you again. We'll be back. We're just going to be across the street, okay? Well, that was fun and it was successful. We managed to get both Angel and Daisy over here across the street to our neighbor's property where they have fresh forage to eat all winter long, and we can let our hillside regenerate without cows grazing it down. What a beautiful partnership. Daisy and Angel. It was so funny trying to get them out of here, out of our property over here, but they are now happily romping and grazing in the grass. Well, that was fun. We finally got the cows over there and they are grazing in the grass, maybe have a little gas. Anyway, they're happy and we're back here and we're gonna make yogurt today. Yes, I have another yogurt episode, but this is one where you're gonna make your own starter. Something that I've been wanting to do for a long time. I never really got around to it. If you're in a part of the world where you can't get a starter culture, this is a great recipe because you can make your own starter culture from little chilies. Now these are Thai chilies that I picked in the garden today, but you can use dried chilies as well. You want to get whole chilies, whether they're fresh or dried, hopefully with the stem on it. The first thing we're going to do is we're just going to heat up a little bit of milk and then cool it down. That's going to make the culture. We're going to just bring this to a boil. Once you've scalded the milk, which is when you've got bubbles and it's beginning to simmer around the edges, it's probably hot enough. I'm going to now turn it off and I'm going to pour it into this little container, and we're just going to let this cool off and then add the chilies to it. I'm going to take the temperature. You don't have to measure the temperature. You can just sort of feel it. And if it's not burning, not too hot, it is 104 degrees, so that's good. All right, so now we're going to add our chilies, which I have rinsed. Put them in here. 3 or 4 I think should do it. And now you have to keep this in a warm place where it'll maintain temperature. It could be an oven with a light on. You can put it in a yogurt maker. I have a proofing box, so I'm going to put it in the proofing box. We're going to let this culture for 16 to 24 hours until it's set like yogurt. This is my proofing box, and it's a really easy way. It's a bread proofer, but you can use it for fermenting, culturing, nut cheeses, etc. So it's great. So this is the culture. This is something I made last night. And as you can see, it looks like yogurt. It's solidified. It's thick, but I believe it tastes a little spicy. And now we're going to put this in some warm milk and culture it overnight. And voila, we will have yogurt. In this recipe, we're going to use soy milk, which will curdle on its own and turn into a lovely yogurt. But in order to prevent any waste separation and yield the creamiest yogurt possible, we are going to add some raw cashews. We're going to blend it up and we're going to cook it to create this creamy, thick base that will turn into, oh my God, a lovely yogurt. So I've got the rest of my quart of soy milk in here, so slightly less than 4 cups. And I have slightly less than a cup of cashews. You can add a full cup if you like. And we are going to blend this. Alrighty, now we're going to pour this into the pan and we are going to cook this until it's super thick and creamy. As we cook it, the air will be released from these bubbles and we should just have one thick batch of cream. Okay, so this is getting nice and thick, as you can see. I'm going to turn the heat off and pour it into a jar, and we're going to let it cool down to about 110 degrees before we add our homemade chili starter. This is cooled down to about 110 degrees, and so now I'm ready to put this starter into my warm milk mixture. And then we are going to let this culture for somewhere between 8 and 12 hours. So I'm going to take about 2 tablespoons of this. And that is my starter, my homemade yogurt starter. So I'm really curious to see how this comes together because, as I mentioned, I've never done this before. I've always used a store-bought starter, but I've been seeing these, in the past I'd seen these recipes on how to do this. I'm just going to use all of it because I have it. And I'm just going to see how it turns out, which means that wherever you are in the world, if you can get CHILLIS, but you can't get a commercial yogurt starter or vegan yogurt, you can make your own starter to make yogurt from plant milk, which I think is a beautiful thing. I thought about finally doing this. I'd read about it, and I finally thought about doing this because I'm working with a Bhutanese monastery about developing some vegan cheeses that they can make. They're trying to make Bhutan go vegan, and they can't get cultures, but they said they can get CHILLIS and make yogurt that way. So I'm hoping that this formula will work to make vegan cheese as well, so that wherever you are in the world, you can do it. All right, so now I'm ready to culture this. You'll know when it's ready, when it's thicker than this, by how it tastes. And if you have a pH meter, you can measure the pH as well, but you don't need to. Okay, in it goes. We'll find out in 8 to 12 hours how it turns out. Look at this beautiful, thick yogurt, and this is extra tangy because I let it culture extra long. You might think that it would have a chili flavor, but it doesn't. For future batches of yogurt, I can just leave a little residual yogurt and just keep using that to make my next batch and my next batch and my next batch. Be sure that you always reserve 2 or 3 tablespoons for your next quart of yogurt. What a perfect item for breakfast or so tangy. Wherever you are in the world, give this yogurt a try, and I'll see you again next time.